Welcome to Let's Bet, the show for folks who love betting on sports but hate losing money. I'll show you how to increase your sports betting bankroll by gaining confidence so that you can ultimately live the life that you desire. I'm your host, Scott Pritchard, full-time professional sports bettor, 31 years, founder of Pritchard'sPicks.com, home of Pritchard's Pick of the Day, took third place in the Circa Invitational last year. This year, second place. What I can do, my guest can do better. He is in first place. Are you kidding me? You can find me each and every weekend, Las Vegas Review Journal. We're broadcasting live and worldwide from beautiful Las Vegas, Sin City, on demand on Pritchard'sPicks.com and on your favorite podcast and video distribution platforms. Want to reach out to us? I would say email us at letsbet@Pritchard'sPicks.com. That's letsbet@Pritchard'sPicks.com. And back by popular demand, two things. One, discount code 20% off all picks, all packages. Stay tuned. I'll be releasing that coupon code in a few short minutes. And the second thing I want to say, back by popular demand, my guest, the winner in 2021 Circa Survivor, $6 million to make it holla. He tied with four others, so he only won a measly $1.2 million. My friend, my mentor, all-around good guy, Chris Piper. Chris, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Scott. Nice to be here.
How's life?
It's good. It's good picking winners, and had a good week already.
So far, so good?
So far, so good.
I want to say congrats. I mean, we talk about the Circa Invitational. It's by invite only, the World Championship of Sports Betting. Last year, 16 of us going head-to-head. You took fifth, I took third. But this year, what I can do, you can do better. I'm in second, you're in first. But hey, so far, so good, my friend.
Hey, it's still early in the season. You know, you got a lot of games to go, a lot of weeks to go, and anything can happen.
So what is your approach when you're doing contests as opposed to just sticking it to the bookmaker?
You know, contests does like Survivor or whatever that I did before. You know, that was just basically picking one game and then moving on. Contests like the Friday Night Invitational, you have to pick 7. I get down to about 10, 12 games or whatever, and then decide which games I want to go with.
Do you prefer sides, totals, college sides, totals, NFL sides, totals? Does it matter to you? Are you an equal opportunity discriminator?
They allow us to have 4 college totals. I normally play the college totals to the max. Sometimes I don't. It all really depends. And then I'm normally playing college. I'll play a few pro bets here and there just for certain angles.
As we look at the NFL season after 5 weeks of action, anything surprise you, or what specifically has surprised you up to this point?
A lot of bad teams, a lot of bad coaching, a lot of bad offensive coordinators, just the players themselves too. I mean, a lot of these guys are going for contracts, and I just, you've already signed, most of them have already signed a contract. They're trying to get bigger contracts. Go out there and play. You know, if you play well, you should get a bigger contract. You know, these different things with trades and all that, you know, I want to get out of here. I don't want to play, you know, I don't buy that. I mean, you're under contract. You're getting paid a lot of money to produce. Go out there and play the game.
You don't have to look far to find frustrations and emotional duress, stress when it comes to sports betting, which is our livelihood. When I had you on the show before, Chris, you talked specifically about one of your pet peeves or one of your biggest frustrations is bad, random coaching, incompetent decisions. What else?
Well, you have to, especially in the NFL, you have to have a quarterback. If you don't have a quarterback, you're not going to win. And then you got to be able to stay away from the turnovers and play, a good football. And I don't see good football out there at times. I mean, I see, okay, we're going to run the ball twice up the middle, and then we're going to pass. Okay, then you punt. I mean, it's like move it around a little bit. You know, have some kind of continuity. I mean, I just don't see that in the NFL, and sometimes in college too, but more in the NFL.
Well, you mentioned something that I'm going to share with our viewers regarding philosophy when it comes to sports betting. I have a strong opinion. It's really challenging to forecast injuries and turnovers, but I'm telling you, boys and girls and gentlemen and ladies of the jury, if you can forecast which team is going to have more turnovers, winner, winner, steak and lobster dinner, that is the key. Statistically speaking, math-wise, well over 70%, forget the point spread, forget the home team, well over 70% of the time, the team that turns the ball over more than the opposition loses. Again, the challenge is, how the heck do you forecast turnovers? That's today's philosophy lesson from Pritchard'sPicks.com here on Let's Bet. We're live each and every Friday from 1 to 1:30, and that coupon code, I know you keep barking in my ear. What is the coupon code? This is all great, but we want the money. No money, no honey. Winners only. One word. 20% discount, all picks, all packages, including the recurring, whether it's Pritchard's Pick of the Day, the daily picks, weekly picks, monthly picks, seasonal picks, annual picks, pick everywhere, a pick, 20% off. Are you kidding me? Winners only, one word. Chris, back to the show. I have to tell you that I want you to share with me what you think are the top 2 skills that a person needs to be a proven long-term winning successful sports bettor.
I believe money management is numero uno. You got to be able to know what to do. It's your money, and money management, how you basically put your picks in the sense of how much you're going to bet per unit or whatever. Also, I think that you've got to be very, how would I put this? You have to have confidence in yourself. You have to have confidence in your picks. You might get picks from somebody else or hear from somebody that, is telling you, oh, I love this game or whatever. You have to do your own homework. That's the biggest thing, I think.
I think that's one of the reasons you and I connected as friends and as colleagues. Farmers hang out with other farmers. Carpenters hang out with other carpenters. Sports bettors hang out with other sports bettors. Attorneys hang out with other criminals. But like attracts like, and we both tend to be independent, critical thinkers, logically speaking. So I really like what you say. I think in terms of yesterday's action is history, today's action is a mystery, and it is so challenging. And we're both proven, okay? Anyone can be good for a week, a year, 2-3 years, but I've been doing this on a full-time basis for 31 plus years, and I really like what you said, and it's something that I have to check every now and again because I am proven. I have a strong belief in what I do, but this business is so humbling because I've got it figured out, and I know on my worst day, I'm going to be wrong 45% of the time. So that's, to your point, where money management is critically important. I often teach, train, and explain that you ultimately do not want to risk more than 1-3% of your bankroll in any one play, but I found that only 1-3% of the people who bet sports actually do so.
Very true. I mean, I see people, I've seen people in this business go broke real quickly, thinking that they know everything, and they put everything on the line. Hey, you just can't do that. But if you do the homework, that's the bottom line.
Conversely, nothing is more gratifying or a feel-good feeling when you see it before it happens, it moves the way you think, and then ultimately you win and cover by 20 points. I've said it before, my food tastes better. My girlfriend, she's even prettier than I remember. The other side of the equation, when the bottom falls out and it's like, wow, what was I thinking? Was I stoned? Was I drinking? What? How did this? I lost by 20. And then my girlfriend, she's not as pretty. The food kind of stale.
It's true. I mean, I had a couple games last week. I mean, I had Missouri, who basically went into the game, and they had 2 weeks to prepare for Texas A&M, and they got blown out very early. And it's the same thing with the Raiders last week. The Raiders were up 10-3. They're going in to score another touchdown. They go up 17-3, and he throws a pick six the other way. It happens. things happen in games, and you just shake your head, going like, "What are you doing?" But that's the way it works.
Speaking of what are you doing, Anthony Pierce, the coach for the Raiders, I've been saying it, the Raiders don't have a coach. Last year, the guy was never a coordinator. The guy has less than zero coaching experience. He got the position because no one liked Josh Daniels, the coach last year, who was canned. So there's always going to be a spike when there's a firing and the new guy comes in. Well, he's just an assistant with no coaching experience. Well, they kind of rode that wave of emotion and actually won a few games. And then they removed the interim title to where now he's the head coach. But the fact is, the guy does not know what he's doing. To your point, when you said the Raiders up 10-3, looking good, feeling good, high altitude, thin air in Denver against the Broncos, they're going to go up not one but 2 touchdowns. Minshew, decent, adequate backup quarterback, made one bad decision, 100-yard kickoff or a 100-yard pick six. The wheels came off. He benches Minshew, brings in O'Connell, the guy from Purdue University. And so I think he's overreacting. And now he's benched Minshew, and they're bringing in the dude from Purdue this week. So there's just a little inconsistency. But respectfully, I don't think he knows what he's doing. But don't ask me. Your best player, Adams, doesn't want to go to practice. He says, hey, I'm out. I want to be traded. And Crosby, he didn't want to practice. If your two best players are saying, listen, I know you're the coach, but I don't want to go to practice, I think there's a lack of leadership.
Well, my question is, what happened after the Baltimore win? Everyone was happy. Adams got a lot of thrown to him, a lot of balls thrown to him. He scored a touchdown. Everything was on the up and up. Everything was going great. Then they come back and play Carolina with a dud. It's just like something happened in that locker room. I don't know what it is, but I don't know whether it's Pierce. I don't know whether it's, I know Adams wants out, but he's already, he's got a contract. Play the game. Get out there and play. This hamstring thing, I'm not even sure whether that's on the up and up. But when they played the Denver last week, he rolls out to his left and has to throw to his right, which when I saw that, it was going like, that's not the right call. Roll out to your right. You're a right-handed passer, then throw the ball. I don't think he gets picked because it's tough to throw the ball when you're a right-hand passer, going to your left and throwing across your body. And that's what happened. He overthrew him. It's just the play calling still. I still feel stinks with the Raiders, and it happens with a lot of teams, which it makes no sense to me at all. I mean, you drove all the way down there, and they were running the ball pretty good too. And then all of a sudden, you put that in his hands and make him do that. I just thought that was a wrong call.
How does this affect your decision making moving forward when it comes to sports betting?
I don't play certain teams now. That's the one thing. When I see something like that happen, or you see teams that basically are in a bad situation, just seems like the locker room is gone. And everyone's going against the head coach or the offensive coordinator. It's the same thing with the Jets right now. I mean, they just they fire the coach, they go ahead and demote the offensive coordinator, which Rodgers brought in there, and now that whole entire situation's off too. So I mean, that's only it's only 5 weeks into the season, and you're having all this stuff happen. I just don't understand it. It's like if you're not moving the ball, try something different. Don't run the ball up the middle a couple times and then pass. On third down, then have to punt. Do something different. Maybe pass at the very beginning. Different plays. If you see the same old plays all over again, you're going like, what's this? This isn't SC. Run to the right, run to the left. And that's the way they did that all the time when back in the day. There's no, I don't know what it is with offensive coordinators in the NFL. They just drive me crazy.
Well, when you mentioned that because of what you just said, Chris, you stopped betting on the Raiders and you stopped betting on the Jets. What took you so long?
No, I haven't bet on the Jets this year, and I haven't bet on the Raiders this year. I watch these teams closely or whatever, and if I see something that isn't right or whatever, I stay off these teams.
So when you like me, I go the other way. I make a point to proactively go against, play against TFN till further notice. But you just say, hey, I'm just going to pick up my ball, go home, play somewhere else, start dating a new girl. Out with the old, in with the new. You just move on and say, hey, I'm not even going to talk to you. I'm not going to return your phone calls anymore. Well, not that she's calling.
Well, there's so many college games that you can play. I mean, you know, college, you'll have, 50, 60, 70 games on the board or whatever compared to the pro game where you've got, 15 or so on the board, and it's the lines in the pro game are so, they're tough. You come to the fourth quarter and it go either way. That's where the pro game is very difficult. It's like last night or whatever, it was San Francisco. They were up by 5 or whatever. That game could have went either way. But, and the Niners have blown a couple leads in the second half, and you're going like, is this going to happen again? But it didn't, and the Niners wound up winning the game. That was a must-win, I think, for the Niners, too, because they didn't want to go 0-3 in the division.
I really like what you said there. Chris is talking specifically about handicapping pro football, which is a tight market, as opposed to maybe betting college football. In the Circa Invitational, the World Championship, by invite only with 25 of the world's best going head-to-head, we do have the option of doing college and pro sides and totals. Chris and I both tend to go with college, even though we both had a lot of success. I'm in second place in the Golden Nugget contest. I'm 17-8 in the Westgate Superbook contest. That's strictly a pro contest. So I've proven that I can win and consistently win, and I love betting NFL football, but I tend to lean on totals more than sides as opposed to point spreads. But to Chris's point, I would much prefer, and I think the operative word that he used was buffet of options, and something that we both know something about buffets, and that's where it kind of triggered this point, that I want a buffet of options, and I would rather handicap 60 to 70, 80 college football games as opposed to 14 to 16 NFL games on a given weekend. So it's interesting because I know our friends, the Mad Russian, who won the Circa Invitational last year, and Derbify Tony Gordon, who's going to be a guest on this show in a couple of weeks. Bill Krakenberger is going to be on the show next week. The Crack Man is going to be in the studio, so that's kind of cool. But they lean on, and I give them credit, man. You and I have a lot of success betting NFL football, but to your point, it almost, in regards to the point spread, it almost always comes down. It's a great spectator sport because it always comes down to the last 2 minutes of a game, a blown call, a missed field goal. I was watching the game at the VIP area at Westgate last weekend, my good buddy David, who's my mentor and friend, and I said, dude, I got the second half under, and all I need is this prick to miss the long field goal. One time, just miss. Be careful what you wish for. He missed. Why? Because it was blocked, and I have under. But the defensive end picked the ball up and ran 70 yards for a touchdown. Are you kidding me? So I lost. But that's why they call it gambling.
It's very true. It happens. It's just like the pick 6 with the Raiders last week. You got the Raiders, you're looking great. Boom. Game changed just like that. From 17-3 to 10-10.
And then Denver, Captain Momentum, they just cruised from there. I want to recap that Niner game last night because, again, starting out, the Niners have a ton of talent, but they're banged up, they're hurt, but they've owned Seattle. I was on the Niners, not minus the 3.5, but on the cheap money line that ultimately closed at 205. I laid 165 early in the week because of what you said, that I thought it was a great spot for them. They are too gifted, too talented, too well coached to go 2-4. I just didn't see it happening. And I like McDonald, the new coach for the Seahawks, but in defense of what I'm talking about, they can only beat the teams they line up and play against, but they haven't played anybody. And then they actually lost at home, and that game was not as close as the score, 29-20, losing at home against the Giants just a week earlier. So the Niners are absolutely locked and loaded and talented, but the problem is McCaffrey, he may not be back the entire season. One of their absolute, if not the absolute best player on the team. And if he does come back, it's going to take him a while to get into the groove. But let's talk about who you think may challenge and come out of the NFC.
Well, Minnesota right now is 5-0. I'm not sure whether that's a a full, that they're the best of the 5-0, teams. I mean, the Chiefs are 5-0 also, but I believe I just have this feeling with Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia is going to be the team that rises out of the NFC again. They're going to get their stuff together. I think it's going to happen this week. Actually, I think they've just had their bye, 2 weeks to prepare, and they got the Browns coming in. I think they're just going to lay the wood to the Browns.
Great minds think alike, because you may not know it to watch, but we do not talk in advance. We just wing it, if you will. We want to give you a fresh look, fresh thoughts on what we're thinking about football. But when Chris just mentioned that he kind of likes the Eagles to rise to the top by the end of the season, I happen to agree with that, and here's why. The Eagles have too much talent. Dallas, they are world beaters on the road, but they haven't won a single home game yet. I see Dallas as an average team. Washington, yeah, it's a feel-good story. They've lost one time all year, but they're about to have their asses handed to them this weekend when they go to Baltimore to take on Lamar Jackson and company. The Giants don't have a coach. So I look at this Eagles team, and the difference is they now have not one but two stud receivers coming back, Smith and A.J. Brown as well. And to Chris's point, they've been off for the past 10 days. So they're rested, they have a chip on their shoulder, and they're in a weaker division than, say, Minnesota. I like what you say about the Vikings, but again, 5-0, they've outscored the opposition, I know, by 63 points. So they've won at Green Bay. But the problem is they have to play Detroit, Green Bay, and even an improved Bears team every other weekend. And when you talk about the Chiefs, the difference there, a 5-0 team, they're in a cake division. They get like 6 byes this year because they get to play the Broncos and the Raiders and the Chargers. They already went to LA and beat the Chargers. So I told you weeks ago when I first had you on that I like the inside track for the Chiefs to three-peat if they could get through their early games, taking on Baltimore, taking on Cincinnati. So far, so good, looking good, feeling good. We're going to come back and we're going to remind you that the coupon code for the 20% discount on picks and packages is winners only, one word. And we're going to come back with best bets from Chris and myself. Stay tuned.
Hey guys, Paul Stone, professional sports bettor from the state of Texas. I was just on Scott Pritchard's Let's Bet. Had a great time talking handicapping. Hope you guys cash some tickets this weekend and the rest of the year. You're watching Let's Bet.
Always good hearing from Paul Stone. He was on the show last week. As I mentioned, next weekend, the Crack Man, Bill Krackomberger, has been a living legend in Las Vegas for decades. We'll be talking sports betting live from the studio, but that's in the future. Let's stay in the present. Let's stay in the moment. My guest, Chris Piper, the 2021 winner, survivor, Circa. $6 million, tied for first with 4 others, split $6 million, net won $1.2 million. It's time now for best bets. Chris, you're up.
Okay, my first play will be Wisconsin. Wisconsin played Purdue last week, just rolled them, and they're playing Rutgers. Rutgers is they're okay. There's nothing special about Rutgers. I think Wisconsin's gonna Wisconsin's going to give Rutgers all they can handle, and that's my first play of best bets. My second play, I'm sticking with Army. I'm laying the big number of 27 with Army against UAB. UAB, if no one knows, is coached by Trent Dilfer, and they I believe gave up almost 70 points last week, and they are just in disarray. Army. I love these military teams, disciplined, organized.
Triple option.
Well, they throw the ball also now, and it's a thing that I've always liked, the military teams. I was in the military myself, and I know a lot of these teams play at 9 o'clock in the morning. A lot of these teams don't even want to get up at 9 o'clock in the morning, 12 Eastern time. Hey, if you're in the military, you get up early. And you're disciplined, you're organized, and I just love this Army team. This Army team, I'm rooting for them to basically be in the playoffs, in the top 12 in the playoffs. That's That's the one team I've been following for a long time.
Well, again, you were on top of it a week ago because I know in the contest you had Army and they kicked butt, man.
Right. I've had them a couple times this year, and they just keep producing for me. So I'll keep playing them. I mean, the line went from 21 to now it's up to 27, but I think they're just going to roll UAB. And my final one, I'll give you an NFL play, and I just had mentioned it before. Philadelphia. I just think Philadelphia, with the 2 weeks off, getting their wide receivers back. I think that the Browns are in disarray. I don't think Watson wants to even be there. I think he'd rather be at home, counting his money. And I think this is going to be a blowout city.
When I've been doing the best bets on this show, I started giving out plays 4 weeks ago, and we document everything good, bad, and ugly. And I can tell you that I'm 3-1 versus the number, and I'm about to go 4-1. It's so easy before the game starts, right? So I'm always confident and cocky, borderline arrogant even before the game starts. But Wisconsin, Rutgers, 9 o'clock Las Vegas time. It's early, I know, but the game kicks off 9 o'clock Las Vegas time over Red Rover. 43.5, 44, doesn't matter, over the points. My buddy Chris likes Wisconsin. I like the over. See the cashier. Chris, where can people find you?
I'm at Wall Golfer, WA Golfer 69.
We talked about who you like as perhaps a surprise team or a team that's going to come out of the NFC, and I happen to agree with you. I bet numbers, I bet value, I don't bet teams, but I do lean on certain teams based on talent and trying to see things before they happen. And I do like the Eagles at plus 950 to win the NFC. Just get in, get to the playoffs. You can hedge that bad boy out. The Niners still, based on talent, probably the best team in the NFC, but hey, what does that mean? We're not even sure they're going to win their division. I think they will, but still, they're not probably going to be a 1 seed, whereas Philly, based on their schedule moving forward and the fact that they're healthy and hungry now and they're a pretty good size favorite at home this weekend, I expect that they could, the concern with the Vikings and the Lions and the Packers and to a lesser degree the Bears, it's a pretty challenging division.
Very true. I mean, the Vikings, they being 5-0, that's, I mean, it helps, but you still have to play 12 more games, and you still got to play I think they got to play the Lions twice, the Packers once, and then the Bears twice. So
I've mentioned every week since the inception of the show that I like the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm never a front runner. I look for an ugly team, small market team, a team that no one's thinking about. But based on the fact that Chiefs, Mahomes, the best quarterback on the planet, had his worst season, statistically speaking, a year ago, and they did not host a playoff game. They went to Baltimore, went to Buffalo, went to Allegiant Stadium for the big game, and they addressed their weakness, and now their worst, toughest games are behind them. I'm telling you, they will be the number 1 seed in the AFC. I do respect the Ravens. I'm not crazy about Josh Allen and the Bills, but anyone else in the AFC in 30 seconds or less that you like to surprise?
that was my choice too. I think it's going to be the Ravens and the Chiefs. Again, I just believe they'll probably play in Kansas City because the Ravens have a couple losses and they've already been beaten by Kansas City. Not really. I just think there's a lot of bad teams out there, and I think the cream rises to the top, and I think Kansas City will probably be the AFC champion again.
I want to thank you for being on the show. You'll be back, my friend.
Okay, thank you.
Chris Piper, 2021 champion of the Circa Survivor, and he's in first place in the Circa Invitational. Again, I know this because I'm in second. Just my buddy between me and first place. Are you kidding me? Reach out to us by emailing us at letsbet@pritchardspicks.com. That's letsbet@pritchardspicks.com. Remember the coupon code for the 20% off all picks, all plays, limited time only. The coupon code is winners only. One word. For Chris Piper, I'm Scott Pritchard. Next week, be sure and tune in. The Cracked Man will be my guest. See the cashier.